I'm Natalia Millman. I'm the artist behind the exhibition Letters to Forever that opens today and lasts until the 28th of August and is hosted in this historic building of St. Peter's Church in St. Albans. This exhibition was 1 year in the making and 3 years of research, and it brings together over 200 letters written from people from all over the world to their loss, of people who are no longer with us. These are grief letters. Here in this exhibition, they are shown alongside with my drawings that represent the emotions that these letters contain, as well as other art pieces that were inspired by the letters. This is not just an exhibition, it is a place that hosts events, talks, performances and film screenings. And grief is not something that's easily and openly discussed, but this is a space for you to sit with your grief, reflect and see what's coming up within your grief. This glass box contains all 215 envelopes that the letters came in, and they represent the communal support and grieving and hope. This is a bespoke centerpiece that was created by mixing specific 5 senses, 5 aromatherapy oils together to create a scent that represents healing and grounding in times of grief. When I lift up the cloche, and this container sculpture that has inscription, "There is a song in the wilderness," taken from one of the letters, is holding this oil. And when I lift the cloche up, then the smell evaporates and you can smell the incense. This fabric piece is embroidered, hand embroidered by me and my mum, and it shows all the phrases that were commonly used in the letters, with "I'm sorry," the most frequently used letter, and they embroidered their exact number of times that they were mentioned in the letter. I created these 3 life-size drawings as embodiment of my grief, and here each drawing is representing the place where I feel grief within my body. This is a space for you to slow down, sit with your grief and reflect what's coming up and learn from it. The project began from a very personal space. 6 years ago, my dad died with dementia. Walking that journey with him, with my family, was deeply painful. Dementia is a slow, fragmented loss. It takes someone away in pieces long before the final goodbye. It is confusing, exhausting, and often invisible to those outside this experience. Many of the letters I have received also speak about dementia, the isolation families feel and the lack of understanding in society, and the stigma that still surrounds this condition. These stories echo my own experience, but they also reveal resilience, tenderness, and the deep love that endures even as memory fades. Letters to Forever is not just an exhibition, it is an invitation. It invites us to pause, to listen, and to reflect on the universality of grief. And by bringing these stories together, I hope to challenge stigma, create empathy, and open conversations about how we as individuals and as society understand loss.
I was aware of Natalia's Grief Letter project. I had a friend who I was very close to for about 10 years, who all of a sudden was not in my life anymore. She didn't die, she just kind of went and did other things. You know, people drift apart, right? So, you know, and that had a big impact on me at the time. I was feeling a lot of grief about the loss of that person in my life, and I submitted a grief letter with appalling handwriting. I remember that. Dreadful. But it was, yeah, you know, I was really admiring what she was doing. And then, you know, I had been going through all this stuff. I had a bereavement. I lost my mum. And Talia sends me an email out of the blue saying, I've got this thing that I'm working on. Do you want to be a part of it? And I went, you know, it's actually, you know, when you're kind of living the creative life, you know, things pop up every now and again where it's sort of synchronicity and it's like, you know, kind of meant to be in a way. So yeah, that's how we got started, really.
And that was, I'm trying to remember, when was that? Over a year ago, definitely.
Yeah, I want to say kind of springtime last year.
Yeah, so a year and a half. And then, yeah, I was just very impressed with little clips that you sent me in your email. And something just was really stirred inside me, and that way you kind of mix the imagery, repetition, the colors and the sound. It was just profound and very deep, and I really wanted to see it kind of grow into maybe extended film performance where you bring your skills of sound and film, and I bring my content, and also we bring our personal stories in it as well. So you telling about your mom and me telling about my dad, but also bringing these letters in and making something really unique that hasn't been explored before. And yeah, and that was the idea. But I guess it did develop throughout the 9 months we worked together. Yeah, we started, hasn't changed massively, but I think we perfected it.
Yeah, you had the structure of the letters.
Structure, and it was, I think, the brainstorming period of this initial unknown and how do we build something out of all these little elements. That was a tricky part, but that once we established how it's going to be visualized there, the process, then it kind of like all sort of slowly came together. Oh, my dear departed, time will heal, they say, yet time is no keeper. If we wait forever. It cannot be bottled. It cannot be tied with threads. It must be released, set free to the winds, for only then can time heal. Farewell, my friend. We shall meet again soon, when the stars align and the ladder is thrown down. I shall climb to heaven's path, guided by the stars, with an old, broken compass and a broken heart.
We had this whole idea of kind of sequences and breaking it up into kind of smaller sections as well. So I think we had 12 sequences originally.
Yeah.
And then undercutting that, or kind of in between each sequence, was a cassette recording that me and my mum would talk about a lot growing up. And the whole mystery of this cassette was that nobody knew where it was. And shortly before she passed away, I found it. And it was a cassette of a conversation between my mum, my grandmother, and a clairvoyant where I'm from, called Pauline, who was a little bit of a mystical kind of woman. And also what was so profound was after my mum had passed, obviously it was a conversation between those three, so it's kind of family heritage and all that. But also it was so pertinent to what I was dealing with my own grief and my own kind of situation as well, because I had grown up in at my home, which was a 3-bedroom kind of house in Nottingham. And then shortly after my mum passed away, the Housing Association decided it would be a good idea to try and kick me out. So, I was dealing with profound grief and dealing with the threat of homelessness as well, all throughout the duration of working on this with Natalia.
Yeah.
So it's, there's a lot of kind of emotional resonance there, definitely.
Yeah, it was a tough year for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But I don't know whether it helped you focusing on this, it helped you in any way.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, I had this whole idea of, this is going to be like a really cathartic experience, and it has been, definitely. I mean, my work through my organisation is all about the power of kind of creative expression for helping people with mental health issues, helping people process kind of emotional issues and stuff, and kind of using creativity as a kind of inner compass to get in touch with your intuition. So kind of using creativity, using the arts as a tool to define yourself and discover more about yourself and grow as a human being.
Grief sometimes seems so palpable in me, I think it can grow wings. Let it migrate somewhere warm and calm, with the ocean lapping at the floor of the earth. I hope it stays there instead of coming back to live inside my body. I need a break from it. Sometimes grief feels impossibly heavy, like a secret or a promise. Some days, though, it feels strangely weightless, like the bones of a mourning dove. Nothing hollows you out like grief. Instead, it's searching. Soon, it arrives back home.
And the windows the city mind, time, act, violence. Who will think the blood disintegrate? A black cat is for good luck, and every dog is genuine. Nowhere else.
Well, I've never really collaborated with anyone on anything so big, and it was an interesting way of looking after the whole project and piece, but also giving Casey the opportunity to express himself and not really push my ideas. And I wanted it to be guided by him, but also a little bit of me. So I don't know whether it was successful or not. I don't know. You tell me. But I just thought I want you to be who you are, and I want you to tell your story the way you want it to be told, in a very free, honest way. And I didn't want to tell you what to tell. I wanted it to come from you. So hopefully it was possible.
What is ignored is always found. What what is silenced will sooner or later become loud. What would you want from me? Like I always did, I hear those whispers on the wind. On your way now, with peace, on my way. My mum was really spiritual. She was into kind of Wiccanism and paganism, and that was a big part of her life. Similarly, she kind of instilled a lot of that in me. And if you are aware of that belief system, it's all essentially about the worship of nature and the worship of life. So when we were growing up, we spent a lot of time down south. You know, Cornwall was kind of her spiritual home. So there's a lot of archival footage that I've used, which was just on a hard drive at home of kind of family holidays and places that we've been to and places that were important to us. So it started with that really. You know, similarly to like the documentary style, although it's kind of using that archival footage. And then with the visuals, especially in certain aspects, I've used a technique called analog digital feedback, which is if you get like an old school TV or something from the 90s or the 80s, or and then you put an image onto it and then you capture that with a digital camera, for example, a phone camera, what you can do is the signal distorts. And if you put that through a projector, you can get these really cool kind of alien, surrealist kind of landscapes, but with that kind of digital edge to it as well, but also organic because of the analog technology. So that's where I was coming from in terms of the visuals. And then with the sound, I went and got myself a nice guitar. It's the first actual nice guitar I've ever bought. You know, it was like a bit of money, and you know, I did that, and you know, I was using samples and kind of sound recordings as well, and also the centerpiece is kind of that cassette that I mentioned with Pauline. And again, the themes of that, of kind of reincarnation and rebirth and cycles of life, and that's what I was thinking of in terms of, you know, when you have a significant bereavement like that, you know, it really puts into perspective ideas about time and life in general, I think, you know, so it's it was really a cathartic experience to channel those emotions and those feelings into a creative outlet, which I've been doing really professionally since I was about 17. So the film is about 1 hour and 10 minutes long. It was originally longer. Now it's about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I think it's the right length. I think it tells the story that it needs to tell in a way that Natalia was saying that's honest and real and genuine. Like she said, it's not polished, but you know, like if you're dealing with, you know, complex grief and emotional stuff, it's not polished, and it's not, you know, it's not easily digestible. It's not easily kind of worked through. You know, when you've lost a parent or you've lost any person that you love, you know, it's a lifetime project of keeping that relationship and holding on to those connections through kind of time and space. And it gets really kind of ethereal like that. You know, I really respect Natalia and what she's done with her project. You know, it's been such a powerful thing for people to get involved with. I'm sure so many people in St. Albans and people that are coming down from other areas of the country tonight are going to take a lot from it and really resonate with the themes, the concepts, you know, the sound, the visuals. I'm hoping it's going to be an immersive experience that people can really sink their teeth into, and hopefully they're going to resonate with the emotional content of the work as well. Well, you know, it's like any creative endeavor, you know, there's elation and desperation and perspiration and the whole thing. So yeah, there's like some nerves, excitement, trepidation, you know, but that's always the case when you're putting your heart on your sleeve like that. But that's kind of my job as an artist and a creative person, is to reflect my experience as I see it, and hopefully other people in the room will be able to resonate with that, and then that becomes a platform for dialogue and empathy and communication between other human beings.
But here, your knit figure, trimmed in satin and lace, hangs in front of me. I trace the abrasion of greens and browns, feel the pain of the thick warmth of the weave, and I want so much to shrink back into the dense folds of the fabric, to force color and words back to haste memories, and fill the shroud with your touch.
On our way into town now. Where did that come from? Guilt is a heavy coat to wear. The what-ifs, whys, and wherefores. During the winter, intermittent sunshine.
Yeah, we had this whole idea of kind of, because I know you had lost your dad, and we had this whole idea of kind of introducing our parents to each other through the work. It was kind of this parallel of Natalia's grief and my grief kind of coalescing and coming together. So that was kind of the genesis of it. It's a tribute to my mum and my brother, and the values that she instilled into both of us. She was a very spiritual person, she was a very creative person, and those things are what she has gifted to me, and it's the reason why I'm here today. So I hope that people can resonate with that, and I hope in a way we can kind of evoke her spirit and kind of invite her into the room, and kind of because she would have loved to have been here supporting me if she could. So just the love that I feel for my family, and hopefully people will resonate with that and relate with that and apply that same kind of care and dedication to the people that they love as well.
Yeah, I agree with the last bit especially. It's just kind of, again, for me, connecting with my dad's weird, and connecting when I'm reading the letters, when I will be reading the letters, really connecting to people who wrote them, and to whoever these letters are written to, and seeing other people's faces, that would be quite interesting to see, because the performance is not polished. It's not perfect, maybe in very rehearsed way, and it's okay. It's good that it's not like that. It's just gonna, as long as it comes from my heart, and I'm being honest with the words, and kind of channeling them through me into the space, into this amazing venue, and my voice is gonna just come into the ears of people who are listening, and kind of sitting with them and making them think about some things that maybe they haven't thought about. That's probably the most accomplished thing for anyone.
How do I decorate this grief? With flowers dried and pressed between the pages of poetry, with shells and moss and pieces of smooth colored glass. I make an altar out of my grief, a safe, sacred, soft space that smells like childhood. Art taught me that you don't have to be perfect. I think in this process I'm intentionally imperfect, and art helps me to develop my intuition. when I use art and grief, it shows me that art will be always a force to help me live with grief. Although loss is very against our instinct and very painful, and that's why we're not openly looking at it. I think if we don't look at it, it's kind of, for me, it feels like something big is missing from life. And for me, loss and this project really transformed me. And through loss, you do change.